Bushwise Field Guides is an all-encompassing field guide course which gives any student huge experience. The idea is that they come with all-encompassing qualifications that they can hopefully get into a job.
The course that we offer is very, very comprehensive, and also we consult with the lodges themselves as to what they're looking for into their guides, and based on that we include that on our courses.
I love nature and I love working with people, so that's actually where my interest grew. I just want to do something or find a particular career in nature.
The students come to Bushwise, I think, not expecting the amount of knowledge they're going to get.
So our modules include things anywhere from geology of the area, climate, mammals, mammal calls, animal behavior.
We do advanced 4x4, we do presentation skills, we do rifle handling and shooting skills.
Really nice that each week we got either one or a number of modules and then a test weekly, because then it did prepare us for the final Fugaza exam.
You know, you're continually learning. You're not just here in the classroom learning stuff, you're out and about in the bush.
And you're not just chasing after the big five, you're stopping in the trees and the flowers and all the little bugs and everything. So that was really awesome because I'm a visual learner and I have to see things to understand them.
I've learned a lot more than I thought I would be able to learn.
On the campus, we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible for the students, a home away from home.
Because it's not necessarily the easiest thing to come out as an international, but to have somewhere where you know that you'll be safe and with a lot of people that are doing the same thing with the same passion. I think for me that's what appealed me to it.
It's not you on your own struggling to understand something or remember something. Everyone is helping everyone.
With family, we become a family, and with the trainers, what I love about them, they're open, you're free to ask any question whenever you want.
We're teaching them concepts and tips and tricks and knowledge that we've gained over years and years and years.
I have more belief in myself. That's the thing that motivated me the most.
Being a guide or working at research entities, a big element, if not the biggest element, is actually working with people.
It's exciting because you get to tell people what they don't know at all, and seeing the faces like so surprised, like wow.
And I think our main goal is to create teachers which will be able to go out and actually keep conservation going.
That's one of the reasons why we have Bushwise. We try to not only train them as guides with a piece of paper, but for them to go out, be ambassadors, and be responsible and set an example.
A lot of jobs require you to have work experience, and without that often you aren't able to get jobs, so we offer the 6-month placement which enables people to work in the industry to really get their foot in the door.
So they give you like a jump start into the industry.
I can't wait now, I can't wait. I'm not looking forward to leaving this place, but that's when the real stuff begins.
Getting excited just thinking about it.
Awesome. Hi, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to our Bushwise Open Day. My name is Amanda, not actually Alice. Apologies, I forgot to change my name on the Zoom. And I am the Outreach and Alumni Program Manager at Bushwise. I'm quickly going to open up a little intro slide here so that you can all take a look at our agenda for today. Let me share my screen quickly with you so that you can actually see what I am looking at. That would be helpful. So we're very, very excited to be here with you today. Oh goodness, where is it gone? Sorry. And we have a really jam-packed introduction and lineup for you. Here we go. Hopefully you can see my screen. So as you can see, we have Trevor, who is going to be speaking to you about our Bushwise wildlife courses that are in field first up. And then I'm going to hand over to Jenika, who's a Bushwise alumni, and she is going to be speaking to us about what she does currently, as well as her previous Bushwise experience with us. I'm then going to hand over to Trevor Myberg, who is our head of Bushwise Online, and he is going to be talking us through all the Bushwise online options that you can get involved with. And then I'm going to do a quick wrap up after all of that. Just some housekeeping before we proceed. You will receive a link to the recording after this event. So if you do have to step out or you miss a part of it, please don't worry too much. We will be answering questions throughout the event via the Q&A box. So please do pop your questions into the Q&A box down below and we'll answer them after each talk. And you will receive all the relevant details regarding today's special offer via email right after this event. And that's it for now. We're going to save that's it for later. So without further ado, Trevor, sorry, Trevor, not Trevor, Nico. So sorry. Nico, are you here with us?
I was about to, yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, cool. Okay, well, I'm going to hand over to you.
All right, welcome everyone, and thank you very much for taking the time to be here. So I'm going to run through what Bushwise is about, what we offer, just a quick introduction before I do share my screen. My name is Nico. I'm one of the trainers at Bushwise. I'm based at the Mhlahla campus. I've been in the guiding sort of world for about 12 years now. I've been at Bushwise for about a year doing some training, and before that I was training in the Eastern Cape. So very good to be with Bushwise, and I'm going to go through everything we do. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. All right, let's get it started. Let's see. All right. All right, so just a quick one, just to meet the team. I know Amanda did mention some of the people that will be talking today. And on the video, you saw there's Sophie, who was speaking quite a bit. So she is the founder of Bushwise. And she started Bushwise, and she recently stepped down as director. Who has now taken over the role of director is Eugene, who you might see around quite a bit. Then we give it over to Trevor, who will be speaking to us a little bit later, head of online. So for those of you who are going to join us, you'll see Trevor quite a bit on the online things. And then the sort of the bit of a backbone of Bushwise is Sharon, and she's usually behind the scenes. Hopefully you do get to see her. She runs all the operations, she does all the students' qualifications and paperwork and everything in the back floor. So she's quite a big part of Bushwise for us. Then we have Kim, who you also meet a little bit later. And most of you, if you do decide to book through us, will probably be speaking to Kim at some point. And then we have Tammy as well, who is the online student support, who you will also probably meet at some point. Then we have John, who is now the assistant director, recently joined us, Ruhandi, who's also joined us, who helps Sharon quite a bit in the back office. John, you'll see around the campuses quite a bit. And he usually comes and checks up and see if everything is running okay, students are happy, staff are happy. So welcome to John as well. Then we have some of the trainers that I'll introduce as well. So we have at the Wildlife College, we've got Franco, who's the head trainer, Darren, and then Pioneer, who I'll show you in a little bit, photo of Pioneer, so you can get to meet him as well. At the Mhlahla campus, we've got Vaughan, who's the head trainer there, myself, Nico, and then we've got a very zoomed in photo of old Wayne there on the left-hand side, and then Pioneer, who is at the Wildlife College as well, the Wildlife campus. Then on our social media front, we've got Louise. She sticks with us quite a bit. She hops on game drives. She buzzes around campus, taking videos, doing interviews with students. So she runs sort of the social media and the videography things. She's also going to be part of 2 of the internal qualifications that you can do through Bushwise. And I'll touch on those a little bit later. And then we have Penny as well. So she's the content writer. So during the course, students and trainers as such, we do quite a lot of blogs, and then Annie is the go-to person who goes through all of that and just make sure that we write nicely. All right, then just to touch on Bushwise. Bushwise is the most comprehensive accredited professional field guide training provider in South Africa. The amount of accreditations you can get through us is quite extensive. It's not only just the FAGASA courses that you can attain, but we do offer quite a lot of short courses as well, and I'll be going through those in quite a bit of detail. So the first one will be the Bushwise Professional Field Guide course. I'll go into detail about that. The Progressive Field Guiding course and the Conservation Careers Internship, which is more focused towards the younger students, so from 21 and under. And then we do have the 35-day practical Progressive course that we've recently started as well, which is more geared to people that have already completed their theory exam and also want to do the practical. And it's got sometimes have career obligations. You can't get away from work for 6 months at a time, but I'll go into detail about that soon. So the Bushwise Professional Field Guide course, so it's a very comprehensive course. It is run on a Big 5 reserve, both at the Wildlife Campus and as well as at the Mahlahla campus. So both those campuses are in massive Big 5 areas. On the Mahlahla campus, we run on Makalani Private Game Reserve, which is a 27,000 hectare game reserve, which home to the Big 5, but not only the Big 5. Most of the animals we do get there, there's hyenas, there's hippos, crocodiles, giraffes, zebras. So quite an extensive amount of mammal species, bird species as well. So quite a lot there. And then at the Wildlife Campus, there's also, it is inside the Kruger National Park. So there also you get to see all those animals. So this is more geared to students that are over 21 years old because they have the ability to have a professional driver's permit. So the PDP, it is something that you do require to have guests on your vehicle. And unfortunately, in South Africa, you can only get that professional driving permit once you are 21. The duration of the course is about 23 weeks, and then with the 6 months placement as well after the course is complete. So in total, it's about 50 weeks, which is quite a lot of experience. The structure is about 30% theory and 70% practical. Practical is a very important component, and that's something that we have sort of focusing on quite a lot in the last couple of courses, getting out on the reserve, getting game drives, getting to see the animals, and sort of seeing how everything fits together. So a lot of practical experience, which is very unique to what Bushwise offers. And then we do offer the placements as well, and that will be mostly guiding placements at lodges. So why pick this course? So it is the best value over competitors based on all the different certificates that you can obtain through Bushwise. So up to 8 certificates, which is quite remarkable, and 5 of them are nationally recognized. So this already gives you that sort of step ahead of any other people going into the industry, especially just starting out as a guide. So you get the free Bushwise 12-week Progressive Field Guide online course as well, which is really, really good to do just before you do arrive for the course, because it just gives you that little bit of extra theory knowledge before coming to do the course on campus and on site. We have the highest Progressive marks 6 years in a row now, compared to all long-term providers, and 88% pass rate average since 2013, which is quite incredible. And then the training goes beyond the minimum requirements. So we do offer the Progressive Apprentice Field Guide course, but we also go above and beyond to try and get everyone to a slightly higher level, so that you do have that edge in the industry. Bushwise advantage entering the guiding industry, of course, because we do offer those little bit of higher standards, and we have a very high success rate in gaining employment at finest lodges and research bases. And then obviously we do assist as well in finding the placements. So the next start dates for the courses will be the 7th of January in 2023. So that will be the 6-month course up to sort of the start of June. And then we'll have the next course start on the 8th of July, 2023, that will run to the end of the year. There are some optional extras you can take. So we do offer a lot. The one thing that is an optional extra is the Progressive Apprentice Trails Guide course, which I will touch on a little bit later. We also offer the money back guarantee to all South African students who complete the 23-day course and the placement if 50% of the course fee will be returned if no job is secured within 6 months of graduating. Then just to touch on the field guiding and conservation careers internship. So this is more geared to the younger. So it is pretty much the same as the course that I have covered on the previous slides. So like I said, it is more geared to 18 to 21-year-old students. It provides a very big training platform for prospective field guides or conservation professionals who are eager to get a head start. So this is because you cannot at that age yet get that PDP, the professional driver's permit, but it does give you a massive head start because you do get to already go into the industry, and I'll touch on the placements a little bit later. It is the same duration as previous slides mentioned, and the structure stays exactly the same. It will also be 30% theory with a 70% practical component. So how the placements will work, because you cannot have that professional driver's permit, so meaning that the placements are usually going to be non-vehicle based guiding positions. So it's likely to be in conservation roles such as field work, research, monitoring, or specific animals. This is very valuable work experience because it does give you that sort of door into the industry, even if you start working in some of the fields where you can't do vehicle-based guiding yet, you do get a better idea of the industry and how it works. You do build up contacts with certain people, and you meet a lot of new people that are in the industry as well. So when you then turn 21 and you are able to obtain your professional driver's permit, that is when you can start guiding guests, which is more the vehicle-based guiding. So you can start guiding if you are under 21 years of age. So earlier I did mention an optional extra is a trails guide. So while on course, we will do the trails guide exam and we will do the advanced rifle handling. If you do pass those, you do have the possibility of doing walking-based activities. So there is not an age limit, so obviously 18 years of age, but between 18 and 21, you can start as a walking guide if you do complete that trails guide exam and the advanced rifle handling. So why do we do this, or why would you want to do this course as a young professional? It does expose you to a variety of fields, not only the field guiding. As you see, they are research-based and monitoring-based. You can get more in the conservation side, so you do get exposed to quite a variety of fields. You might actually in the lodges work at front of house and more back of house to see how the whole lodge industry operates and how everything runs. Practical experience in a very competitive safari tourism industry is something that is valuable to gain. And like I said, also meeting people, building relationships, which is really, really important. It strengthens your CV because of the amount of different topics that we cover, the different qualifications that you can attain. It does strengthen your CV quite a lot. And it allows students to refine the direction of their intended wildlife and or conservation career. So if you are not sure yet on exactly the path you want to take, would you like to go into conservation, into monitoring, into guiding, then this gives you a good idea and it opens the door to quite a lot of paths that you can take. And so the next start dates, it's exactly the same and will start alongside the professional field guide course. The start dates will also be the 7th January 2023 to about June, and then 8th of July 2023 to December. And also the same goes with the money back guarantee as previously mentioned. So quickly cover the theory that we will be touching on and going throughout the course. So it is the FOGASA theory exam or the theory modules that we will go through, and that is what we will be covering. There are 18 modules that we do go through. We'll do in classroom, but we will also touch on those different subjects while on drives, just for students to understand slightly better on how all these things fit together. A 75% pass rate is needed for the FOGASA Apprentice Field Guide theory exams. So just some of those topics that covered is very wide. I know it looks a bit daunting, but it is guiding in the natural environment and creating a guided experience. It's geology, it's weather and climate, astronomy, ecology, biomes, taxonomy, plants, which includes trees and grasses, arthropods, which are all the insects, fish, amphibians, which are the frogs and the toads, reptiles, everything from the largest crocodiles to the smallest little skinks, birds, mammals, the behavior of those animals, the conservation management, and then historical human habitation. Then all those things get put together and we start learning how to put it together practically. So the practical aspect, which I did say is about 70% of the course, that's when the students get behind the wheel. And you don't have to worry, we will be there with you all the way. Other students will be on your drives as well. And this is how we're going to teach you how to put all that theory that we learn into practical use and how we can then entertain people. And the best part of this is that you get to spend every day in the bush doing game drives, which is pretty awesome. So just some of the FAGASA qualifications that you can obtain. So during these courses, the students will complete the FAGASA Apprentice Field Guide Theory and Practical. You'll also do the Trails Guide Theory exam towards the end of the course. And if all of this is completed and you pass, you do get the FAGASA Apprentice Field Guide, which is the NQF2 certificate, and that is CASITA recognized. And then all the short courses that come with what we offer, which is pretty incredible and pretty awesome, is we do get to do the first aid training through Smart Solutions level 1 and 2, and that will also have a wilderness aspect to it. So what that means is you will learn how to deal if you do get things out in the field, vehicle-based injuries, people fall off the vehicle, or animal-based, or snake bites, and you do get to learn all those extra things and how to deal with those things. The social media module as well, Louise, who I sort of showed you earlier, she will be covering most of the social media module and the photography. And the social media module is to how to boost your presence online and through social media. So Louise goes into quite a lot of detail with those lecture. The photographic workshop for the photographic enthusiasts, come along, bring your cameras, and Louise goes through how you can use those cameras, best settings, how you want to frame, and things like that. We do hospitality training as well. How do we speak to guests? How do we present ourselves? How do we set tables? And we go through quite a bit of training there. We'll do a basic reptile handling course with the Hoedspruit Wildlife Reptile Center. That's where you do get to learn quite a bit about snakes, and that snakes aren't really that bad and that they are not just there to kill us. We'll also do quite a lot of 4x4 and basic vehicle mechanics and tire changing. How do we change the tires on these big trucks that you see in the photos? How do we drive off-road? Where do we use different gears? That also gets done quite extensively. We also do astronomy training with celestial events. The person who runs that is Ben Coley, and he comes through, and it's often a couple of days where we'll do some lectures on astronomy, but also get to spend a bit of practical time in the evenings with some big telescopes looking at the stars and going through what is going on in the skies above us. We will be doing CASITA firearm training with Latava Tactical Firearm Training. So this is so that you can carry a weapon. So it will be learning the legal aspects of firearms in South Africa, as well as can you safely handle a firearm in South Africa. We'll also then go to a step above, which is the advanced rifle handling, which will be done with us trainers, and then what you'll be assessed, but I'll touch on the advanced rifle handling in detail a little bit later. Track and sign, which is usually a very exciting time for everyone on course. I know for current students, it is coming up in our next semester, and everyone is really, really excited for this. And it will be track and sign and trailing, which is really awesome, which is done through Colin Patrick. That's where we're not only identifying the various tracks that we get from animals, birds, insects, even things like seeds, flying off of trees and rolling on the ground, being able to identify that, but also trailing animals. And that will be finding fresh tracks of rhinos and then trailing them and trying to track them down. And then further practical trails experience after the course. This is offered by Lowveld Trails, and that will be a separate course to Bushwise. Like I said earlier, the trails which can be added extra, and that will just be further experience and learning how to walk in the bush. So just the advanced rifle handling. So what that is, it is a shooting qualification that is obtained once students have passed their FOGASA Trails Guide theory exams. It is composed of 6 exercises that test your accuracy with quite a large caliber rifle, which is a 375 bolt rifle. But we will be there guiding you through it, how to operate those firearms, how to place them in your shoulders, how to safely manage them. And that is something that we'll do. We'll start off without using any ammunition. And then later, once we feel you are ready and you know how to operate the weapon, that's when you get to hopefully shoot with the rifle and experience some of these big guns. Then we have the 35-day practical FOGASA course. So this is something we started off. It is geared to people who have completed their theory already and just would like the practical experience. So it assists with the practical component of the FOGASA Apprentice Field Guide qualification. So that will be the 3-hour drive assessment that you get assessed on. Trainers prepare the students leading up to their assessment, focusing on animal behavior, the interpretation, how do we position our vehicles, and how to convey information to guests and how to guide guests on safari. So it is aimed at students that have self-studied the FOGASA Apprentice Field Guide program, and they have already written and passed the exam with a minimum of 75%. Or it could also be for those that have lifestyle or work commitments, so you can't get away for 6 months at a time. Those that have already completed their theory and written exam, either by self-study or directly through FOGASA via the online course. Those that don't want the full qualification, but the cheapest option to come and join on 2 safaris a day for a month. How awesome is that? Those that also do not have the time or budget to book the 23 or 50-week courses, which is a really nice little added that we are starting to do. So the duration will be 35 days. It is a very compressed version of the previous 2 courses that I have talked about. But it does include those 2 game guides a day for about a month. And you gain quite a lot of practical experience by doing that. And then why do this course? Because it is a condensed practical experience for those with little time at their disposal. So when is the next start date? So they will run alongside the other 2 courses that I have mentioned. The next one will be the 7th of January 2023, and the next start date will be the 8th of July 2023. There are some optional extras that you can add onto this, and it will be the Trails Guide, the Cyber Tracker Track and Sign, what I talked about, where we do track and sign and trailing, which is a very, very good added bonus. And then also the Bush Guides for FOGASA Field Guiding online. So that's just to go through that theory online in your own time. And try and get that theory done. So the theory and practical component of the Apprentice Trails Guide qualification is covered in the classroom like the other FOGASA modules. It is split into 2 parts. We've got the BPDA part, which is viewing potentially dangerous game. And that will be how do animals react, what are the certain distances you can get to animals that have certain comfort zones. So it's just teaching you a little bit about the animal's behavior and how do they react to us being in their environment, where are the places to walk, where are the places we avoid to walk, those type of things. Then we'll also have a rifles lecture, and that will just go into detail on the components of the rifles, the different steps that we use in the ARH exam. So we'll go through those in a theory way as well. And then for both of those exams, you do need 75% to pass. Walks are also conducted on the reserves for the students, and that helps to accumulate some hours and encounters to log a logbook. And that logbook, where you will be logging those hours and encounters, will eventually help to complete your qualification. And then we've got an exciting one coming soon, and it will be a 60-day safari guide course, theory and practical. So we're really excited to launch the new field guiding course based on some feedback, and we will be providing more information on this via various platforms in the next few months. So keep an eye out for that, because that is really, really exciting. So just to touch on student life and what the students get up to on the campuses during the day while on course. So two days are never the same. It's always different. Anything can happen. Every day in the life of the student is different. So we might start off the same with a game drive or a bushwalk in the morning and the afternoon, but students are trained to be in the industry ready, which means having a clean vehicle, doing vehicle checks, preparing hot boxes for drink stops, welcoming guests, conducting safety briefings, and leading activities with regards to a qualified trainer at their side to mentor and assist. So there's quite a variety of things that we do. It is not all just sit in the classroom or go on a drive. We do help you with other things, and there's always up and go and different things to do. And students also help each other with these types of activities or tasks that they can do. Lectures are given after activities to prepare students for the tests and examinations they will write throughout the course. During daily activities, trainers guide students through field guiding, allowing them more and more freedom to allow them to develop their own guiding style. So lectures, we will sometimes do some in the morning, we'll do a game drive, possibly after game drive, we'll have some lunch and then do another lecture, but I'll go into our day-to-day structure. So usually game drive times will be between 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning. I know it seems early, but we are going into summer now and it is starting to get slightly warm here. So heading out early is the best chance to see the animals moving around. So we'll try and get out as early as possible. This time of year, we do start quite early in winter time. So when we do start the July course, we might start a little bit later and you can have a little bit of a lie-in. We come back, we'll have some brunch. After brunch, you do get some downtime, although sometimes we do have some lectures that we'll do from sort of 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then the afternoon drives start 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, also depending on the time of year. This time in summer, we will go out a little bit later because it is so warm. So once it starts cooling off, we'll start heading out to see if the animals get active. Then in the evenings when we come back, you have some dinner and then bedtime. The days that we do spend in the class with quite a bit of theory is, or if we're doing quite a lot of tests or practical assessments, we'll start off at 7:30 or 8 a.m. start. We meet at the classroom for morning sessions. Brunch is about the same time, and then the afternoon sessions will start at between 3 and 5 o'clock, depending which time of the year, and dinner will be at 6. So just the two campuses that we do run at the moment. So we do have the South African Wildlife College campus, which is close to the Auckland Gate in the Kruger National Park. So you are open to the Kruger system, and there you can see what you never know. Anything can move around, anything can move in and out of where you are based, and it is a really nice campus. Then we do have the Mahlahla campus as well, which is close to Gravelot. From here, we do operate on the Makalali Game Reserve, so it is about a 10-minute drive from the campus where we do get onto the reserve and go explore. Then we do have weekend activities as well. Usually it will be on the Saturday mornings. It is sort of spent recapping the week's lectures and doing question and answer sessions. We'll do some questions and other fun activities, which are usually learning activities, just to help prepare yourselves for tests and exams. The rest of the weekend is downtime. That's when students can just sit back, you can relax a bit, you can go lie by the pools, you can head out to the respective towns and explore a little bit. All right, just a couple of photos of campus life. Top photo there, we've got one of the groups of our two courses back on the Mahlahla campus. The top middle there, we've got, looks like Callum telling everyone about that little black bird at the top there, probably. It's a southern black tit. Yeah, so this is just some of the activities, some of the students, as you can see here, the middle left, there's Almar, he's just braaiing for the students. So some of the students can get involved, especially over a weekend, and help with the braaiing activities and cooking the meat. But as you can see, you get really close to the people you do the courses with, and there's time spent in the evenings around a nice fire pit where everyone can talk about what happened during the day. Even out in the field, we can take some time, sit around at waterholes and just take in nature and relax. And then the big question is, why do you want to choose Bushwise? So Bushwise, I mean, we've got experience, knowledge, mentorship. The training team combined has guiding experience of well over 100 years. And the team comes from different part of the guiding industry as well, in different parts of the country, which is really awesome because you can get people giving different inputs. Your trainers give you places, sort of input from different parts of the country, which is really important, different lodges, and combining all of those to form the students that we do at Bushwise is really incredible and is a step ahead of the competition. The knowledge you do gain is so diverse, and the experience given through constant mentorship from our experienced trainers are unparalleled. So to choose Bushwise, I think would be a great idea. We do sort of take students first, student at heart, and we do really like to mold everyone in their own way to be incredible guides at the end of the day. So thank you very much, everyone. And I would now ask any questions. You guys can pop them in the Q&A box, and then I will try and answer them to the best of my abilities. Some of them I can't. I'll pop over to either Amanda or Kim or Trevor.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nico. We really appreciate it. That was very insightful, very cool to learn more about what you'll get up to on campus. So we've had quite a few questions coming in. You're welcome. So I'm just going to recap. A lot of the questions have been answered by Kim in the Q&A box, but I just want to recap for the purpose of everyone else listening. So we had a question from Janine, and Janine has asked, do you assist students with their PDP if they turn 21 in the beginning of the course, or do they need to do it during their break?
So Amanda, yeah, that's something that they can do. We will obviously explain to them exactly how all of that works and how they can do that and all the processes. But we will give them some time to go through either it's great, or if they do have their after their off week, just explain how they can do that at home. But yeah, we will definitely help and explain how they can do that and what is the best way to do it.
Fantastic, and I'm sure that that expertise is super helpful. Thank you so much. So we have another question from Anonymous. They would like to know, what is the ratio between people, kind of locals versus internationals on a Bushwise in-field program?
So I mean, it is almost half-half. I think it changes every course. It is never the same. But it is awesome having sort of local and international together. I think everyone learns from each other. It is so important to learn the different cultures and learn where everyone is from. So it does depend course to course what the ratio are. On our Mahlahla campus, I know at the moment we do mostly get the local, and on the Wildlife College side will be mostly international, and that's purely because of the visa side of things and how to obtain visas for the students.
Got you. Awesome. We have actually a great question that we have never had before, I don't think, from Sandy, and she would like to know, what is the fitness level required?
Fitness level required. So I mean, we'll be quite active. So even when you start off, you will be moving around campuses quite a lot. On both campuses, there is quite a bit of moving and walking around. But you don't need to be able to run a marathon, if I can put it that way. We do a lot of vehicle-based things, and later in the course will be a little bit more walking. But you do not need to be able to run marathons, but you need to be sort of mobile and moving around, and at least be able to walk about 500 meters, put it that way.
Okay, fair enough. So we don't need to be able to sprint.
No, no running.
Just in case.
Never run in the bush.
Good to know. Great. Okay, we have another question here from Theon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. Theon would like to know, with the qualifications gained, even without the PDP, can you work in other countries? And then the second part of the question is it right to say that the PDP is only required for working in South Africa?
Yes, so the PDP is only required in South Africa. We do possibly in the future have open to Namibia and getting students into Namibia. So there are possibilities in other countries. Some countries do have quite a lot of regulations regarding do you have degrees to try and get work visas, but Bushwise definitely, I know, has big plans for Namibia, and we do have some partners in Namibia, as I know we have sent previous students to Namibia as well. But as far as I know, you do not need the PDP for Namibia.
Great, well, that will be very exciting. Fingers crossed for that one. We have a question here from Sammy. Sammy would like to know, how large is a group of students each year?
That also varies quite a bit depending on how many students we take on. So I think maximum that we will have on the Mahlahla campus is about 16 to 18 students. And then on the Wildlife College side, I think there can be quite a few more students there. I think Kim can help me there on exactly the numbers that are at the Wildlife College side, but the groups do vary from course to course, but it will never, I haven't seen it be more than 20 students at a certain campus.
Fantastic. Yes, I think in her comment, Kim mentioned, Kim, do you want to chirp? Everyone,
yeah, so it really all depends on bookings at the time. I mean, we've had 18 bookings on one course and we've had 40 bookings on one course, but the great thing is that we do have multiple campuses where we can split the groups. And then even better, when we're doing the practical training, the students are being put into even smaller groups based on how many can fit on a vehicle. So it's very individualized personal training when it comes to the practical, 7 to 9 students per vehicle.
Great, thanks, Kim. Cool, we have a question from Roxanne. And Roxanne has asked if the track and sign course would be done at the 35-day course or if it's done separately to that. Nico, are you able to take this one? Happy to?
Yes, I am. So on the 35-day course, the track and sign is not included, but like I mentioned, it is an added extra. So the 35-day course does run along the other 2 courses, the professional and the conservation side course. So you can add that as an optional extra where you will then slot in with the rest of the group that are doing the other courses. And then you are able to do the track and sign and the trailing aspect.
Noted. Great, thanks. Another question here from Anonymous. Anonymous would like to know if there is a quality difference between doing the online theory and the 35-day course, the practical course, versus doing the 23-week course.
So the online theory, it is very based on can you sort of attain the knowledge yourself. Obviously, we do have the lectures on, Trevor does go in depth, but when you do the courses at the campus, sort of the 23-week course, you do get to put that theory in practical as well. And I feel and I've seen a lot of people understand the theory a lot more when they can see it practically. So that's where booking the longer courses or doing the 23-week course helps that theory quite a lot. If you are someone that is very good at just studying and getting through that theory and understanding things a lot easier, then by all means, but it is a big advantage to do the 23-week course where you can sort of put that theory to practical as well.
Awesome, great. Is there anything else, Kim, that you would like to add there?
Yeah, I think the fact that all those extra skills, certificates, and add-ons that we do on the 23-week course. Might not improve the quality of training, but it will definitely improve the quality of you as an entry-level field guide, having all those additional qualifications. It will add to your CV, it will definitely make you more employable, and it will give you a little bit more time in the field.
Great, thank you so much. While we actually have you here, Kim, we do have a question from Roxanne with regard to payment plans. Could you tell us a bit more about the payment plans? Because I assume that most people will want to be paying this off.
Yes, so we understand that this is an investment into people's career and their futures, and it doesn't come cheap sometimes. So we do very flexible payment plans. We actually customize payment plans per student. So the standard offer could be a deposit in 2 installments, but the one that's the most common is a deposit in 6 installments. But like I said, we customize that. So the further in advance you book, the more installments we can give you. And we've just implemented an option for South Africans to pay additional installments while they're on the course, which means more installments at a lower rate. Yeah, we really want to help students be able to make their dreams happen and be able to do it, so we can customize it to whatever their needs are.
Great, thank you so much. I'm sure that that is yeah, really valuable information to a lot of people watching. We had another question here. Nico or Kim, I think either of you are probably suited to answering this. Is it possible to do the 23 weeks course only without the placement kind of after that?
Yeah, I can go ahead and answer that. So you definitely can book the course on its own. You do not have to do the placements if that is not something that you want to do. What I have found is a common thing that happens is a lot of the students that originally booked the 23-week course have such an amazing time that they add it on later. The only complication comes in with international students who have already booked their study visa for the duration of 6 months. So I really try and encourage the internationals to make up their mind beforehand. For South Africans, it's a little bit easier for them to decide later on if they want to go ahead and do the placement. But something I do want to reiterate with the placement, it is really, really, really important to do the placement. In terms of our experience and what we've heard feedback from the our students that are on the courses. It gets your foot in the door, it helps you gain practical experience, and you can almost look at it as a 6-month working interview. A lot of our South Africans get job offers during that time, and also the internationals that do the placements, they are seen for who they are and not just being an international. So it will definitely help them convince potential employers that they might be worth the effort to helping with the work visa over and above somebody else.
Great, thank you, Kim. Super insightful. We have another question here. Sorry, please excuse the cat who is trying to get into camera. If the 35-day practical course is done during a gap year, would Bushwise or the qualification be able to get you help with gaining employment after graduation, even if that is a few years later? Probably a good one for you, Kim.
Sure, I'll go ahead and answer that one. So your FAGASA Apprentice Field Guide NQF qualification never goes away. The only thing that you need to maintain is membership with FAGASA, as well as a valid first aid certificate to be able to work as a field guide. However, on your CV, it will show that you've done the qualification maybe a year or 2 prior and have no working experience between the time that you start looking for a job. The fact that you also have done a very compressed version of an apprentice field guide with no extras might be a disadvantage to you. So just keep that in mind. It would be advisable that you choose to do the course and decide to go straight into working as a field guide straight afterwards, because you might be a bit rusty with all the knowledge that you gained over that time as well.
Great. I think those are really, really good points, really valuable to consider. So thank you for that. We've got a question here from Sandy, another one. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy would like to know, what is the average age of participants? Obviously, it varies from group to group, but what is the average age on average?
Great question. So you actually might be surprised with this answer. The average group every year, from what I've seen, is definitely people in their early to mid-20s who are starting their careers. But we have found people in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s that are changing their careers. Then we have the slightly younger group of students between 18 and 21 who are not too sure what they want to do. They know they want to work in wildlife, but they want to kind of gain insight and into what their options are. So mostly people from 20 to 30, but then we do have a few people in all those other age groups, and also a nice ratio between male and female as well.
Great, thank you, Kim. We have another question from Anonymous here. They would like to know roughly what is the average salary amount once you've qualified at Bushwise? Probably quite a tricky one to answer because I know there's not always an average, but does anyone want to step in and provide some information there?
I mean, I think Nico can come in after me, but I'd like to start off by saying that you know, the salaries that field guides get is not a true reflection of what they actually earn in terms of their quality of life, because you must remember when you're a field guide, you are living where you work, so you don't have to pay rent, and you're also getting food where you are living, so you don't have to buy groceries or drive to the shops or do anything like that. And most students are, or most field guides are working 3 weeks to 6 weeks at a time, so their personal expenses are really at a minimum. These salaries can be anything from about 5,000-6,000 Rand all the way to 8,000-9,000 Rand. Again, it's very dependent on the type of lodge where you are at in terms of star grading, so 3, 4, and 5 star. Also, the caliber of what your guests are like. Are they South African guests? Are they European guests? Or are they like USA guests, things like that? Because obviously the US guests tip a little bit better than South Africans, just because of how things are in the world. And then also your tips are tax-free. So yeah, your tips can be anything from 4,000 or 5,000 Rand to 30,000 Rand a cycle. It really depends on where you're working at the end of the day.
Again, very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm quite tempted to now sign up. Nico, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think just to add there to what Kim was saying, I think you when starting off in the industry, I think to gain that experience, I mean, when I started off as a guide, I was getting 2,500 Rand a month, which is in this day and age not a lot of money. But when you start off, you do progress quite quickly, and as you develop your qualifications, I think what helps a lot as well with the 23-day or the 23-week course, all those extra qualifications do add up. I think when you enter the industry in just the apprentice field guide with first aid, you're looking more at like 5,000 to 6,000, 7,000, maybe 7,000 Rand. But when you do add all those things up, especially adding the trails part of it, you can look at slightly more towards 9,000, sometimes 10,000 Rand. But tips or gratuities is a very big thing, and it can vary. Like Kim was saying, I think depending on where you work and sort of what type of guests you have, you can sometimes look up to about 30,000, 40,000 Rand in tips per 6-week cycle. That's if you work the 6-week cycle. And it's just to get that experience in the door. But I think once you start building that experience, and you can very quickly jump salary brackets 2 years into guiding. Once you have the full trails qualification, that can jump up to about 14,000, 15,000 Rand a month in salary. So you can progress very quickly in this industry with your salaries.
Yes, and sorry, Nico, you made me remember something else. Is as you're progressing as a field guide, professional field guide, professional trails guide, special skills guide, you can even go further into the lodge management side, assistant lodge manager, operations manager, lodge manager eventually, and then some other field guides have gone on the conservation side, warden, reserve management, and also even anti-poaching management.
Great, thanks, Kim. And Nico, I will say that I think just speaking from experience, I haven't been a field guide, but I have been on a few safaris, and we've had some wonderful field guides. And I think just the value in terms of networking as well for me, and just being able to meet people from all over the world, from all walks of life, has just been, must just be wonderful. I think that's always been one of my favorite parts, is getting to know our field guides. So yeah, great. Thank you very much. Well, Nico, did you want to say something?
Just to touch on what you were saying now, man, you also get to meet people from all over the world. And often what comes along with that is, if you decide to eventually travel, you sometimes have places to go stay all over the world, meeting all these people. So I can go on ski holidays in Switzerland, or I can go to places in America and visit Yellowstone Park. So you do get to meet a lot of people that then say, oh, you can come stay with us, or we have lodges in Switzerland, or so that's also a bonus.
So sorry, I should unmute myself when I start speaking. Great, thank you so much for that, Nico. I have another question here from Fionn again, hope I'm saying that correctly. Is it possible to book a placement as a separate entity at another later time after the practical course has been completed?
You are able to do that, but you'll have to do that in your own capacity. And this is not something that we help you do if you choose not to do the placement at the time of booking and choose to do it in a year or 2 or 3 years later. It would be advisable that you follow up with your placements right afterwards. But there is nothing stopping you from reaching out to places saying that you've done your training at Bushwise, you've got all these qualifications, you weren't able to do the practical at this time. Would they be able to assist you in some way? The only thing that we ask you, if you choose to do this on your own, is that you not take any of the placement partners that we have built over all these years and take a space of somebody else.
Great, fair point. Thank you, Kim. We have 2 questions just before we wrap up and hand over to Jenika. Anonymous would like to know, with all the knowledge you obtained from the 23 or 50-week field guide course, can you just work as a field guide, or would you maybe after some time also be able to get a different kind of conservation job? For example, at a volunteer organization that does work like monitoring.
Yeah, I mean, these options are definitely open to you. It would definitely help if you had an additional working experience or degree or qualification in terms of conservation. But we do have a lot of placements that combine both, and we have partners with them. And a lot of the times those placements end up in permanent job offers. It's something we can't guarantee, of course, because it all depends on that particular organization's requirements for employment, but it does certainly open doors for our past students. And some of our past students have obtain jobs in those fields.
Great, thanks, Kim. And then a fun one. Sorry, Nico, did you want to say something?
Just quickly to touch on that one as well, Amanda, is I think the guiding is a very, very strong base to work off of. I've seen and met people in this industry, be it conservation, volunteer work, research. And one thing that most of the people that are in the top positions in those organizations have in common is they have some sort of basic guiding understanding. I think it helps you in all the different paths you can take in the industry or in wildlife, be it conservation, be it research. It is a massively good foundation to have.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, I think that is a very valid point. I know that Annie, our Bushwise writer, has some field guiding experience, and that definitely gave her the edge when getting a job as a content writer. So yeah, it really could go in many different ways. Final question, I think, for now. It's been wonderfully busy with questions, and I love this very engaged audience. Thank you so much for asking all your questions. Final question, are students on campus for 23 weeks straight, or is it possible to visit a city during the weekends?
Yeah, so students, you do stay on campus for 4 weeks, and then you do have a week off. So that's when students can go and explore a bit. Some students just go home back and see family. Quite a lot of students go book Kruger trips, or they'll go to the different areas surrounding the campus that they are on. And on the weekends as well, depending how the weekends are. If we do finish quickly on Saturday, which is really nice, is both campuses are very close to very prominent sort of sites to visit, and very nice places to visit. So you are often just an hour and a half, 2 hours drive away from places to go and see, go into Kruger, or just go to Hoedspruit and go and relax there a little bit. So yeah, students do get that chance to break away a little bit.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nico. Thank you so much for all your insight, for helping us with our questions, for your awesome presentation. You are more than welcome to stick around. We would love to have you. We'll be taking more questions after the next presentation, so please do keep them coming. Just pop them in the Q&A box and we will get to them as soon as we can. But for now, I would love to hand over to Jenika, who is a Bushwise alumnus and also working as a horse trail safari guide. I hope I'm getting that correct. Lovely to have you here with us today, Jenika. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Good in yourself. Welcome, everyone.
Good. Thank you. Are you happy to share your screen?
I am happy to share my screen. Is that all good?
We are, it looks like we are getting there. I'm seeing, I think it's just taking a while to load. Perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'll pop back on when you are done with some questions.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah, welcome everyone. Just want to quickly introduce myself. So yeah, like Amanda said, I'm Bushwise alumni, and yeah, I'm a horse trails guide at the Ants Hill in the Waterberg at the moment, and then I work myself up to stable manager. So I'm a stable manager at the moment as well, and yeah, so much fun. So I'll be talking to you guys a little bit how it works, and yeah, but first, yeah, what made me do the Bushwise course? It was so much fun. Best thing I could have done. I studied zoology with tourism at the Northwest University. I finished in 2020, and then with COVID and all those things, I said, okay, well, I'm not going to get a job anywhere. So yeah, I'll best do something like this. And yeah, best choice of my life. So I joined last year in January. So I was January to June. And yeah, like I said, best decision. So I never wanted to do guiding. I didn't like people. I wanted to go into conservation more than that. All my life I've been wanting to live in the bush, and I did my guiding course at Bushwise, and yeah. Then I fell in love with walking safaris. I really wanted to do the trails guiding thing, and with my internship, I ended up with being they sent me to the Ants Hill Lodge, and I always rode horses my whole life. I never thought of doing a horse trails guide in my life, and then when I started this, amazing. So yeah, Bushwise offered me this, and like I said, best. So it's a little bit different to normal guiding, and it's also a little bit different to trails guiding. So a day in a horse trails, life in a horse trails guide. So it's more challenging. It's more physical work. So sometimes we have 42 horses in our stable. So we start at 6:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock ride. So you have to feed 42 horses quickly. You have to saddle up quickly. Clean your horses, everything before 8. But it's, yeah, if you are a hard worker and you love people, you love horses, this is your your kind of job. Normally at other places, I'm not too sure. Like there's only a couple of horse safaris in South Africa and in Botswana and stuff. But how it works here is you won't always do riding. You can ride twice a day and you'll be 6 hours on a horse. But you can also do game drives, walking. We sometimes even fish with our guests, but yeah, not often. So I get to do walking as well, do what I wanted to do sometimes. But like I said, I do most of the time, I do horses. So you still host with your guests lunch and dinner, and then you also host sundowners. So that's the typical day of a horse trails guide. So if you want to become like the top big 5 horse guide, we are working towards. We actually did our ARH a couple of weeks ago. We want to take horses to Marotaba, which is just across the road from us, where there's lions and elephants. So that's going to be very interesting. But it will be good to have level 2 or 3 full trails guide if there's lions and elephants. But here we have rhinos, buffaloes, and leopards, which they are pretty chill. We have white rhinos, luckily not the black rhinos as well. So we have beginner riders and novice riders, not always intermediate and experienced riders. So, and then the other stuff you will have to have to be able to do is stay calm. If you panic, your guests will panic, your horses will panic, everything. So that's quite an important thing to be able to do. And like I said, it's a little bit different to other guiding. So you have to be able to read your guest and your guest horses. Sometimes things can go wrong, so you have horses to keep calm, guests to keep calm. Yeah, it can be tricky sometimes, but like I say, staying calm is good. Good decision making, really, really good. You have to have good decision making. You can't, if you see a buffalo, he's a little bit unhappy, you can't walk closer with your horse. And assessing the situation, also good. Everything all comes together with this guiding on the horses. Staying calm, good decision making, assessing the situation, all those. And then clear and loud communication with your guests. So just remember, so our maximum guest on our rides will be six guests. So it's lead guide in front, 6 guests behind you, and then your backup guide. So if you're guiding them, very, very loud. You have to speak loud. If something goes wrong, what you have to do will have to be very clear and loud to be able to get it to your backup rider. And this was a little bit fast, but any questions? But like I said, in the end, Bushwise helped me so much to end up here. And I would have never thought to be a guide in my life, not even a horse trails guide, but Bushwise helped me to get there, helped me, like I said, I built myself up to stable manager, and I couldn't have done it without Bushwise. And I hope it was not too fast, but any questions, if you have any questions about how my Bushwise life was, or how is life here, salary, anything, I don't mind having any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenika. That was like just absolutely awesome to hear. I did riding growing up myself, so when I heard that becoming a horse trail safari was actually a job, I think I nearly fell off my chair, and I was extremely envious of you. So really glad that you have made it to where you are, and that Bushwise was able to help you with that. We have had a question, a few questions, most of them from me, but we have a question from Roxanne, who would like to know, did you do an EQASA qualification? She says she's hoping to work in horse trails too.
So I did my BSc zoology degree, and then I did my Bushwise the 23-week with the placement, and that's all I did. Nothing else. You don't have. I've worked with horses all my life, so I didn't really have like the qualifications of equine studies or anything. Came here,
okay.
They saw I worked hard, worked myself up to stable manager, just with the knowledge I had.
Incredible. Holy moly.
Yeah,
And
I'd like
so
to jump. Oh, sorry, Amanda. I'd like to jump in here quickly. This is a question that's been coming up quite a lot with different leads and people that are interested in horse safari guiding, because we featured so many of our alumni doing this kind of job. Like Jenika said, you literally just have to be a competent horse rider and confident with horses. Adding in the dangerous game factor, you'll get all that kind of training with your field guiding qualification. But I believe that FAGASA is wanting to add a horse safari guiding qualification later on. That is in the pipeline. Yes. So it would be very helpful. And I think it would be something that is really good to have for future horse safari guides.
Exactly. Yeah, so while we did our ARH, we were actually discussing it, like, yes, we can train how the advanced rifle landing, the VPDA and stuff, but it's completely different on the horses. Like, if a lion charge, you have guessed with horses, the horses are not going to stand still. So yeah, there's not a lot of information about horse trails guide and with the big five. Like I said, buffaloes and the white rhinos, not that bad. And I actually 2 months ago, I saw a leopard on the horses, and the horses were a little bit funny, but the leopard didn't stick around for too long. So, yeah.
Jenika, is it safe to say that a lot of the additional kind of training happens internally with the places that actually do this? I know that places like Wait a Little will then take their staff and employees and then do a little bit of internal training with you as well while you kind of learning about the job.
Yes, definitely. So like I said, I've been working with horses all my life, but the knowledge I got since last year, July until now, and even every single day I learn something new about horses, because also for having 42 horses, something goes wrong every single time. So you learn everything new. You definitely learn a lot at working here. Then, yeah. if I can.
Yeah, and I think as you were speaking, I was just kind of realizing, as you know, someone who did grow up around horses and riding as well, there must be such an intense level of, as you said, being able to read the situation, the room, the outdoor room.
Exactly.
Because you're not only reading your guests and reading the environment, which is what field guides and safari guides do, but then also reading the animals, the horses, because they're so sensitive to these things and they pick up on these things. So I feel like you are probably you're developing skills that not a lot of other field guides necessarily get to. So that's incredible. I did want to cover this one question with you. We have a question from anonymous attendee again. They would like to know, are you working at the same place as where your Bushwise placement was?
Yes, so Bushwise got me the placement last year. So I did my placement from July to December. And then December, Ansil offered me a job. If you work hard and you keep working hard the whole time, I can promise you they will offer you a job at the end of your placement.
Incredible. And just out of interest, you mentioned you studied zoology, and then obviously COVID happened, and you've ended up here. I guess I have a twofold question. Where did you originally see, what path did you originally see yourself taking? Where did you originally see yourself ending up? And then where do you see yourself kind of going next? What are you hoping for in terms of future career?
So I really wanted to do conservation. Yeah, that was where I was heading. No people, didn't want to work with people. And then with Bushwise gave me so much confidence, and working with other people and stuff. From there to here. And then, so my future, I would, so we are working to this big 5 area thing. So I would really like the big 5, to do the big 5 with the horses. Maybe sometime, maybe in Botswana or even Kenya, hopefully one day. And then after the horses, if I'm done riding, I would really like to do the walking safaris.
Incredible. That is, yeah. It's wonderful to see people's I guess paths kind of where life takes them, especially when things like COVID happen and the world moves to online and people start to stop and reassess where they're at, what they really want out of life, all that jazz. So it seems like you've really made the most out of the situation. I'm just going to see if we have any more questions. And it doesn't look like we do at the moment. I have another question for you, actually, just one from me personally. What was, again, I guess a double barrel question, what was your favorite part of the Bushwise program, and what do you think the most valuable thing is that you learned on the program?
So I would say the walking was my favorite. So that when we started that, when we got that encounters with the elephants and the buffaloes and whatever, lions, everything, I knew that's what I would like to do one day. So that was, the trainers that we had on my campus were amazing, and they were also full trails guides and stuff. So no, they were good mentors with the walking and stuff. And yeah, no, the best other part, the knowledge and stuff you learn. And like I said, the confidence that Bushwise gave me working with other people, I think that's the most top thing, I would say.
That's incredible. And I suppose it's confidence isn't necessarily something that can be taught, but really something that kind of emerges as a result of an experience and what you're learning. And it really, I think, is especially in this industry where you are, obviously people are in this industry because they love conservation and they love the outdoors and they love wildlife, but there is always that aspect of people being involved. So I think confidence is a really valuable thing to be able to say that you've learned and you've grown in. So that is, yeah, that's wonderful to hear. Shoot, I had one more question, and I think it's, oh no, I remember it now. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the student, kind of student life and accommodation on campus when you were on Bushwise campus and doing the course. Could you tell us a little bit more? I know that Nico has touched on it briefly, but it's always different hearing it from a student because we know that students tend to know more than what everyone else says. So could you tell us a bit more about what accommodation was like? What did you get up to on weekends? What did you do in your free time? Who did the cooking? That sort of thing.
So I was on Balulek campus for, I think they only did it for 2 years. But it was so amazing. So student life on campus. So that was a little bit far from town. So over weekends, we chilled at the pool and we were watching movies, we chilled with each other. That, I think, having that, we were such a good team and we were all good friends and stuff. Yeah, so we chilled at the pool. Sibu was our cook, the best food ever. I will never forget that. Yeah, so what else? There's been so much going on. I have to remember a year ago, more than a year ago.
That's okay. We have a question about transport specifically. How, if you wanted to go into town for the weekend or go exploring, how did transport work? Were you able to hire a car, or was there a student? How did that work?
So I'm not too sure how it works on the Mishlasha campus and stuff. If you had a car, you could go into town and stuff. But being in Balule, we couldn't just go off the property and come back on. We had to stay there until off weeks and stuff. But I'm pretty sure Kim and someone can answer that better than I can.
Yes, no problem. Thanks, Jenika. Yeah, so the students who have vehicles on campus have a little bit more flexibility and freedom. They can leave on off days and come back when they need to. They can leave on off weeks. And then a lot of the international students that don't have their own vehicles grab a lift with those people. And then sometimes they share petrol costs and things like that when they go out together to Kruger.
Cool. Thank you, Kim. And I know I have heard about groups of students kind of going off and doing, I guess, like group trips in their off weeks, in their own time, going exploring, going to Kruger, and all of that. Is that correct? I've heard stories.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. Fantastic. Nico, did you want to say something? Did you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to add there. I think the students, they get so close, like Jenika mentioned, they get so close and form such a bond. Some of them who had plans to go home for their off week decide against it, and rather they do go in those groups and they go and explore Kruger for a couple of days, or they'll go up to Noritskop, or they visit different areas in the surrounding area. So I think everyone does have the sort of plan that they're going to go home, but eventually everyone becomes so close knit and such a tight group that they go and try and explore and do everything together.
Awesome. Thanks, Nico. Another question for Jenika, question from Anonymous. They would like to know, are there a lot of people the same age as you where you are working now?
So most of our people are a little bit older, in their 30s, and then normally we have 3 to 4 volunteers. So, and they normally are from the age of 18 to 30 years old. It depends. So yeah, it's all around. So I'm 24, so it's all about the same. More to the volunteers than the other guides, and like. The other guides here have been here for more than 20 years. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. So it sounds like there's a range.
Yeah. Sorry. Not at other places, but yeah, we also such a tight group. We like family. That makes it better in the workplace.
Yeah. Absolutely, for sure. Could you tell us, is there, in terms of like supplies and stuff on campus, if you wanted to go grab supplies or a can of cool drink or Coke or whatever, is there a shop where you're able to go and do that?
So on Balule campus, we just bought our own stuff, but I think there was a little, like some of the people bought, some of the other students bought like a lot and then they sold it off again. But Mishlasha camp they have like a little shop or something where you could buy. We were a little bit off the grid on Balule.
Okay, but it sounds like everyone still managed to make a plan. It sounds like there are a bunch of entrepreneurs there.
Definitely.
definitely we all made a plan.
Some hustling entrepreneurs there, field guides with a side hustle. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Agreed. Sometimes you just need a packet of chips and a can of cool drink.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jenika. It's been amazing having you here with us and hearing more about your journey and your studies and your Bushwise experience and where you've ended up, your career now. Yeah, just thank you so much and all the very best for the rest of it. I would love updates. Hopefully we'll have you back on in another few months / years, and you'll be able to tell us about all your adventures since now. So thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me, and I hope I get everyone excited and hopefully some new horse guides in the future.
You certainly have. You've gotten me excited. So, and I'm a bit of a city girl. So if you can get me excited, you've done your job amazingly. Thank you so much.
It's a big pleasure.
Cool.
So enjoy.
Thanks. Cheers. Awesome. So I am going to be handing over now to Trevor, who is our head of Bushwise Online, and he is going to be talking us through our online programs for all those who are not able to come through and do a program in the field. Trevor, are you here? I can see you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Hello, everyone.
That's
Thanks
good.
for the invite.
Good to have
and
you.
I'm happy to be here, and I hope I can generate some more excitement for our future students. Just by the way, I have to sing Jenika's accolades. I had the privilege, whilst I was still, how can I say, full-time in training on the ground, I had the privilege of coaching and mentoring her. And it's true what she says. When she arrived, she was quiet, meek as a mouse, and kept to herself. So Jenika, don't shoot me now, but I'm singing your accolades because the transformation that I've seen over the last 10, 12 months is outstanding. That is probably one of the most gratifying things for any of us as teachers and trainers. And I think Nico would agree that it is probably singularly the most gratifying thing to actually witness the growth of these young people entering into this industry and actually making a huge success of it. Yes, we deal with people, folks. We don't deal with animals. And if you can't deal with people, you may want to reconsider your options. But Jenika was proof, living proof, that you can overcome any confidence issues. Well done. I'm very proud of you. Cool.
Oh, thank you
With
for
that,
sharing.
I'll get off my
Thank you for sharing
soapbox.
that, Trevor. No, that's absolutely fine.
Sorry, my ears are going deaf here. I'm going to quickly share my screen, if you folks will just bear with me. As you can tell, I am, oh dear. Just give me a second here, folks. For some reason, it doesn't want to share. Just wait for me. See, I'm one of those old timers, folks, where I need to do things the old-fashioned way.
That's okay. Trevor, I also have your presentation in front of me if you would like me to share my screen.
No, it's fine. I just had to open it first.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. If I've got more than one tab open, then everything goes pear-shaped. Otherwise, I might. Okay. All right. Listen, I think I'm going to have to go with yours.
Okay, not a problem.
So sorry, folks. This went all funny.
That's okay. I'm just going to open this up quickly and hop into center view. There we go. Okay, well, you just let me know when you would like me. Ooh, hold on. Okay, now my screen is going funny. I'm so sorry.
For some reason, I've been kicked out as well. All right. Sorry, folks. Those that can hear me, just bear with me for a second. I'm just busy reloading it.
Sorry, Trevor.
No,
for some
that's
reason,
fine.
my
Just
whole
for those,
tab
if you
has...
guys all can still hear me, this is what happens when you live out of the big city. You're at the mercy. You're at the mercy of bad internet signal.
Sorry, Trevor. My Google has just decided it is going to shut down along with all my tabs that were open. So
All right, I'm
as
sitting
luck
with a
would have
similar
it.
problem. Just bear with me.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm almost there.
In the meantime, Kim, can I ask you some questions about placements? Specifically, I know we haven't gotten many questions about placements over the course of this open day, but I know historically we've gotten loads of questions about placements. Could you tell us a bit more about how placements work, how you get paired with a placement partner, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. Great question. The students are basically observed throughout the course. Let me say, the trainers are looking at their strengths, their weaknesses, their background, their working experience. Do they have any additional qualifications? And because we've got such good placement partners for so long, we kind of know what they're looking for in terms of, those soft skills, personality types. Sometimes lodges look for somebody who's academically strong. Other lodges want somebody who's more of an entertainer. So during the 6-month program, we try and match the students very carefully with their placements. Most of the placements are obviously guiding, because as we are a field guiding training provider, we do have conservation type placements, and we even have placements that combine both. So placement talks happen during the course. Later on, placement arrangements are done after they've passed their FAGASA. Interviews then are done, and once a student is happy and the venue's happy, they then move on to do their placements, where food and accommodation is provided, and sometimes students get a chance to earn some tips. One of our directors recently visited a student on her Namibian placement, and she's averaging tips of about 8,000 Rand every month, which is amazing.
Wow. Okay. That's certainly not bad for placement. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That was very helpful. And I see, Trevor, you have managed to pull up your presentation. Are you happy to take it away?
Now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, but for some reason it won't allow me to go into slideshow.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We can just roll with it.
Can you guys all read
this.
it though? Okay.
Yes.
My apologies, folks,
yes.
but for some reason it's trying to connect. So hopefully it will remember the instruction I gave it. All right, so I'm here to talk a little bit about the Bushwise online courses. Thanks for the opportunity to the audience. And basically, our online, we can offer our future students 3 different type of options. All right, so the first option is known as the nature enthusiast, and that entails an 8-week participation. Or you can do an introduction to field guide to the nature enthusiast, which will have a duration of 4 weeks, or you take the combination of both to gain the full FAGASA theory qualification. You can't do option 1 and 2 separately and hope to gain the same theory qualification. It sits as one. If you do both the 8 and the 4 week back to back. So for those of you that might be cash strapped, you could do, for argument's sake, the 8-week one now, and in 2 weeks' time, in 2 months' time, decide to do the 4-week one, or a year later. You can do it if that suits your pocket. But for the full theory qualification, you need to do the complete 12 weeks. Excuse me. All right. Once again, to meet the team, we all know Kim now. She's popped up a couple of times. Hello, Kim. Tammy is our online support, and she's your go-to person from the tech point of view. Maybe I should have contacted her prior to this game or haywire. All right. The rest of the team is myself. I've been around for several years, as you can see, old and gray. Not because of students, it's just very wise in years. Okay, but I have been around for the last 14, 15 years in the guiding industry in various roles. And I'm happy to say that I've partnered with GBI Bushwise with this endeavor with the online, because I believe it is a fantastic opportunity for young people like Jenika, who didn't do the online. Oh, sorry, I lie, who did do the online and actually benefited, excuse me, by actually arriving for the practical course, having a basic platform to build upon. And that is why she was so successful, and why I recommend that you guys as potential future students do the same. Just remember, forewarned is forearmed, or forearmed is forewarned, whichever way you look at it, but it'll definitely help you. All right. I will be assisted by various other trainers during the course of most of the webinars, but I will be your go-to guy 99.9% of the time. All right, that 0.1% might be because I'm unable to connect to the internet because we have power outages. Okay, but if you guys would just read a little bit of the feedback that we've got there, the course is very interesting. Oopsie, excuse me, I'm in the wrong place here. And enhance my basic knowledge of South African nature. And the handbook gives a clear overview of all learning material. Some improvements to your personal study methods may need to take place to make it even better and more sort of visual course for yourself. Right, but at the end of the day, this is the accolades we're receiving from previous online students. So you wouldn't be doing anything wrong by signing on as soon as you can. All right. Who does it actually appeal to? Well, it's to all sections or parts of the world. If you want, enthusiasm is targeted for anyone who enjoys nature in general and the outdoors, and just wants to learn some more, not necessarily to apply it in a skill where guiding is involved or anything, but just for their own general knowledge and self-enrichment, which is obviously the next bullet point. And you don't, as I say, have to necessarily want to become a field guide, but imagine how you can enthrall your party guests when you're hosting a big barbecue and it's a family gathering, and you can talk to them all about all your all your knowledge, and you can wow them with various little tidbits of information, which is always a nice discussion point apart from politics and who lost the rugby recently. Okay, but the benefit is it's subjects that cover many aspects that could benefit any wildlife career sometime down the line. All right, so it's a little bit more difficult than basic senior high school biology, but it is not at scientific level, which is what makes us a real winner in terms of self-enrichment. Okay, I've actually explained everything ahead of the slide, but yes, we'll be discussing topics the same as we would do on the ground with the 6-month practical, but obviously in more lecture-based sort of delivery, with me doing question and answer sessions once a week to try and cover any aspects that you're not too familiar with or you got questions on. Same as you would do in a lecture room if you were present with the rest of your group, we're just doing it digitally now. Okay. Oopsie, my mistake. How does it work? Well, it basically is you need access to a computer and a decent Wi-Fi, and I need at least 90 hours in the 8 weeks for you to complete all your assignments, which is basically all digital, which are marked automatically. And then there's obviously discussion groups where you guys can share information amongst yourselves on the Canvas platform. There's a conference button, or like most of our students do, they actually start an internal WhatsApp group and they have chats and they thresh out various discussions on things that they've researched, which I often challenge my audience with on these webinars to try and help and try and instill the understanding that one never stops learning. You can do as many courses as you want, but the inquiring mind is such that it would require more effort than just going to an online course. All right, I might be shooting myself in the foot, but I think at the end of the day, I think people know what I'm talking about. Alrighty. Oopsie, I'm skipping too fast here, folks. Everything's going wrong. All right. The 4-week course deals more with the skills of guiding. Okay, both vehicle-based and on foot, as Jenika quickly found out was her favorite facet of guiding in general. The nice thing about trails guiding is brings you up nice and close to nature at its best, even with its, how can I say, with its scares, with animals that want to potentially bite you or stomp you. But at least we'll teach you theoretically what you should and shouldn't be doing. And it includes working with rifles, how to load, unload, etc. But it goes into a lot of depth, and I don't want to allude to too much in case I scare you guys off, because I want you to come and learn from me after the 15 odd years that I spent learning these things the hard way. Because in my day, there was no such thing as an online course. So at the end of the day, you're going to be benefiting from my experience combined with the experience of my fellow trainers, and we're going to have a bit of fun as well. Okay, as you can tell, I'm not a stick in the mud. I like to crack a joke now and then. Okay, I'm going to skip that because that is exactly what I've just explained. The beauty of it is with the online, there's no time restrictions other than from start to finish. All right, we have weekly get-togethers. You determine the pace that you want to study at, learn, and fill in your assignments, etc., which I'll explain in a whole lot more depth when you sign on in the opening webinar, where I go through step by step. But essentially, you will be provided with all the tools necessary. I just need you to participate, come with a good open mind and a good sense of humor, and obviously be prepared to learn. All right. There's one masterclass a week plus one webinar. They're usually scheduled to be aired 5 o'clock South African Standard Time for approximately an hour. Invite special guests, experts in the field of anything from elephant contraception to sustainable resource management, various topics, all conservation based. And then on a Thursday at 5 o'clock, that's when I then go through the reading material and the study modules for that particular week, answer any questions and clarify any concepts that people aren't too sure of. Okay, anything from developing a guided experience to how to operate a radio, and basically how to become a field guide. All right. All that's included, as I said, is your FAGAS exam fee and moderation fee, your learner manuals in digital form, and your learner workbook, which I'll explain in full. So 2 days a week where I expect you guys to attend your classes online for an hour each. And the rest of the time you manage to set in terms of your pace for reading through the material, studying it, remembering it, and then completing a quiz and an assignment. The quiz doesn't count towards any marks, but it's basically to see if any information is sunk into the gray matter. And the assignment is basically, it's basically a test or an exam, which is to determine if you have got the basic knowledge required from a FAGAS standard. It is automatically marked. Your marks are sent to you within minutes of you submitting your assignment, and then they are rechecked again because sometimes computers do make mistakes. And then you'll get a second email showing you the adjustment. Okay, the FAGAS field guiding course, the full course runs back to back for 12 weeks. And it basically entails the first and the second one I mentioned, that's all combined into one. Right, but we've designed it in that way so that if for financial constraints or work commitments or family commitments, if you can only do the 8-week now and the 4-week a couple of months later, when you finally sit the online. Okay, another little bit of a blog there and feedback from past students. I see my connection is unstable, so if my lips are moving but you're not hearing anything, listen to the recording. Bushwise provided an efficient platform that made the learning process an enjoyable one. A highly knowledgeable and professional team kept the environment friendly and light-hearted and created a family atmosphere that was a pleasure to be a part of. Industry-leading masterclass guests allowed us to gain valuable insights into the great work taking place behind the scenes and diversified the experience as a whole. I enjoyed the course from start to finish and look forward to working with the Bushwise team in the future. So, coming back to what Jenika said with the questions asked about what did she take away, it was the mentorship process, the knowledge sharing, all the practical aspects, which in itself makes things that much more enjoyable and not stuck in a class for hours on end, which not many people like. How to decide? Well, hopefully by virtue of this online virtual open day, and I've managed to encourage you guys to come and join us. I don't need to divulge too much. You must just have a hunger for knowledge and then come through and we'll do the rest for you. Okay. Sorry, guys. Now it's working. Are there any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Trevor. That was really interesting. I think it's so special that we are able to engage in online learning in this day and age. I think COVID has done, for all the downsides, it's been great in terms of allowing people the opportunity to do these things like learn online about the bush and about nature and wildlife when they're perhaps not able to take the time out of their schedules to get to field and that sort of thing, maybe dip their toes into something that they think they're interested in. We don't have any questions from the audience here. No, I lie, we do. I'm not sure if this is actually a question though.
Okay, Jessica. Well,
yeah,
I'll
Jessica was asking if there was any additional reading material needed apart from the manuals and workbooks that you get on the online course. So I said you need a tree book, a bird book, and the insect book. And she's basically asking if these books will do, Trev.
These will certainly do, and especially when you come and hit the ground, boots on the ground for that 6-month course that I'm hoping to encourage you to come and join. If not, at least the 35-day course. Yes, these books are basically worth their weight in gold. But for the actual online question and answers and reading material, you will only need the Fagasa Learner Manual. It is the basics, talking about bird morphology, for argument's sake, and reptiles, etc., etc. It's not an ID or an exercise to try and teach you how to ID something. Those books, obviously, you have charts and you have organograms where you use it as a tool on the ground to actually demonstrate how to go and identify that tree. To do it on online would be virtually impossible, although I have got quite a unique way of doing it and encourage people to use their book that they've got. Now, you've just said to me, you've got the tree book. Great. You've got one of the best ones out there on the market. But I bet you if you open the first 2 pages and you look at that organogram, you're going to go, I've got no idea what to do with the book. So you just page through the pictures. If I'm wrong, okay, then I apologize. But if I teach you how to use that organogram so that you can identify that tree, that is the key. So for now, to answer your question, the learning resource that we provide that's included in the course price is all you will need. But hang on to those books, particularly the Roberts one.
Fantastic. Thanks, Trevor. You certainly sound very well read. I wanted to ask you, while we wait for more questions to come in, we've still got some time before we need to wrap up. So if anybody here does have questions for Trevor or for anyone, please do pop them in the Q&A box now. Trevor, in terms of online courses, who is your, what kind of students do you have on your online courses? Can you describe the different types of students?
Very good question. Sorry, I somehow lost your screen there for a sec. Okay. You know what? They're from all walks of life. I've had young schoolgoers in the matric year, senior year, that are 16 years old, that are keen to get involved, but obviously understand that the 18-year-old cutoff is required before you could actually come out and do a practical. It's largely based to whether you've got your driver's license out of the way. But I've had some people that are in their late 80s who are doing the nature enthusiast course because they are learning more about certain subjects that they feel very strongly about. But on average, I would say mid to late 20s is the majority of the students that actually enroll. A couple of them, obviously, to do the full 12 months, because they want to actually pursue a career. They've decided, no, corporate life is not for them. And if you're on this platform at the moment, you're probably in the concrete jungle thinking exactly that. So bang, bang, I hope I've got you guys hooked.
Wow, that is incredible and really quite inspiring. So am I correct in that you need to be 16 years or older to do one of the online courses?
Yes, it's a FAGASA requirement. They have got other FAGASA related courses for 16 years and younger, but they haven't put that online yet. So it's really only 16 upwards. Look, we'd never turn anyone away, but certainly I don't think at the level that we're teaching that a young teenager who's probably just thinking about having a good time with their friends and riding bicycles is going to want to spend hours behind the pages of a book, or for that matter, digital pages on a computer. But it's purely just because there needs to be a cutoff somewhere. Otherwise, you're interfering with their school life as well.
Absolutely.
They've got school to attend.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. We have a question here from Theon. They would like to know, is the online course start date the same for everyone so that everyone is able to discuss the course materials together?
Okay, I've lost your sound.
Oh, shall I repeat that? Trevor, can you hear me?
No, I've got the Q&A open. Just give me a second.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, so it was, is the online course dates the same for everyone so that everyone can discuss the course together? Yes, in the sense that if you only every 12 weeks a new course starts. All right, so if you were to start and only do the 8-week course, that's fine. You all start at the same time, but then you decide not to continue with the remaining 4. You obviously then just drop out, or don't drop out. You just don't get the links anymore. But everybody starts on the same date and works through. On average, we probably have about 40 to 50 participants every set course date. But only 50% of them can attend a lot of the webinars. But the beauty is the webinars and the masterclasses are recorded and distributed to everyone in terms of they can catch up in their own time to at least gain that little bit of extra knowledge. So that answers that one. The next question I see, once you end the lessons and pass the exam, you have the FAGASA theory degree forever. Okay, first of all, it's not a degree. Okay, we're not a university yet. We would love to be, but it is an industry standard that's recognized in the whole of Southern Africa as probably the most, the best, or the elite of the elite. But regardless, you keep your level. If you've passed that theory, you keep it forever, as long as you continue paying your annual subscription fees to FAGASA. Excuse me. If you're no longer a member, they will not revoke it. They will just put your theory pass mark on hold, if you want to call it that, And when you decide to renew your membership and proceed, then they will reinstate it. There might be conditions, but it's, to my knowledge, I know of some people that have waited for 2 years and have then started their or renewed their membership, and all they had to do was rewrite the exam to regain. But it's very few and far between. So yes, you keep it forever. Just keep your membership alive once a year on the anniversary of when you started.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Very great questions and excellent answers as well. Did you just say there's another question? Sorry, Trevor.
No. Sorry.
Okay. No, I don't see any more questions here. But we do still have a little. Oh wait, hold on. We do have questions. People don't want to let us go. Oh, what a great question. We have a question about load shedding. So Anonymous would like to know, how are we accommodating the load shedding schedules around South Africa? Fun fact, Anonymous, I am currently load shedding. I am hooked up to a backup battery that is powering my Wi-Fi, and I'm just very glad that it's not dark in South Africa at the moment. So we make a plan, but Trevor, I'll let you step in.
Yeah, okay, yes, this is a very real challenge, regrettably. So what it is, when I host any webinar, and the same with our masterclass speakers, they make sure, well, look, they already know ahead of the time, but they make sure everything is running smoothly. Their laptop is charged, the Wi-Fi connection is secure, and lastly, if you're expecting load shedding, that you've got some backup plan, whether you use your hotspot on your cell phone, or if you've got a UPS, but it's highly unlikely that any one of us will not be available. For you personally, if internet cafe is probably close by, there's probably a way for you to overcome load shedding, because I'm quite sure they'll have a generator going, because that's their line of business. Otherwise, perhaps just mom and dad's arm to buy you guys a UPS, and you can always advocate, oh, well, listen, you can still watch your movies, you can download stuff, you know what I'm saying? No, don't do that to your folks. But anyway, that's how we get around it. Okay, now see, there is a question that's come through on our chat box. And I'm going to partly also ask Amanda to answer it. What must you wear for the online? All right, well, my simple answer is tongue-in-cheek clothing, please. But Amanda came up with a very important aspect as far as the Poppy Act is concerned. So I'm gonna, give him this new debacle now with, did you say some brands, sport clothing, where things are going haywire?
Oh, yes. So this is more for, I guess, the purposes of recordings and marketing. But when we are presenting and representing Bushwise, obviously we try very hard to uphold a certain standard of ethics and morality, and branded clothing. If brands are in the limelight or the spotlight for some, I guess, unethical practices, that these things come to light and make it into the media, that can look not so great on recordings. So when we are presenting, we try to not wear branded clothing. However, if you are a student and you are doing a course, I'm sure you are free to wear whatever it is you like to, that is respectful to everyone else, from the waist up. Currently, I'm wearing sweatpants. I'm not gonna lie. I'm wearing sweatpants. So I feel like as long as you are presentable and happy to engage in a way that is not offensive to other people, that's absolutely fine.
All right. Just be comfortable. Yes, sit back, relax, and enjoy an hour of information sharing and experience sharing. Thanks, Amanda.
You are most welcome. I see another question here. When you do book the 23 or 50 week professional field guide course, when will you get access to the 12-week online course? Do you have time to finish the 12-week course before coming onto the field guide course?
All right, I'm going to have to ask Kim to answer this, because I have had students on the online course, but they booked and couldn't finish, for argument's sake, the last 2 weeks, because that was the start date of the actual 23-week course. So yes, it can be done, but I think you need to arrange that with the person that you are making your booking with. But Kim, I'm going to hand that over to you to potentially just clarify.
Yes, so the benefit for students booking the 23 or 50-week course is that they do get the 12-week online course for free, provided that they're booking at least more than 12 weeks in advance. If they are booking less than 12 weeks in advance, they will get access, so they can still look at the recordings, have all the platforms, be able to download everything. But they won't be able to engage live in any live webinars, obviously, because those have passed. So, we take students that can book 2 days before the course starts, which means they just won't get that added benefit. But a lot of the times people are booking 12 weeks and more in advance. So it's a very small handful of students that are attending those long-term courses that probably won't do those online courses. But remember, we are doing that theory on campus anyway, but at a deeper level and together with the practical training. So at the end of the day, it's just going to be a bonus for those students that have attended and given their all during the 12-week online course before they're coming to do the on-campus course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Thanks,
Kim.
Thanks, Kim. I hope that answers the question. And then I see Emma has sent me a message. In general, how are the various FAGASA qualifications recognized outside of South Africa? In places such as Europe or the Americas. All right, it's a very good question because in theory, the FAGASA qualification is not officially recognized outside of the African continent. All right, so it wouldn't lend a lot of weight towards a conservation job, whether it be in Europe or the Americas, because it's not recognized as part of the how can I say, the industry norms. But FAGASA is definitely reaching out to places as far north as Tanzania. It's been recognized in places like Malawi. Zimbabwe are slowly making a move towards getting their guides up to FAGASA standards, but certainly Namibia and Botswana are a FAGASA qualified experience guide is in high demand. There's always obviously visa complications, but they are considered amongst the best of the best. Sadly, things like trails, walks with Big Five and stuff doesn't occur in the Americas and in Europe. So people don't understand the concept of advanced rifle handling and stuff. In fact, a lot of those places don't allow you to walk with firearms, etc. in any of the natural parks unless you're engaged by the national parks. But certainly the skill sets that you learn can be applied in absolutely any facet of outdoor work. Survival skills, safety and management of safety incidents, or managing incidents and stuff. All these little things come into play, and those are the extra skills that you learn, not just excuse me, folks. Not simply just can you identify a bird. So I hope that doesn't throw you completely.
Great.
Fian, they are recognized by some lodges in Kenya, not the majority. The reason being is simply Kenya is extremely difficult to get into as a foreigner to work, whether it's permanent, semi-permanent, or just on a casual basis. But there are some South African lodges or owned by South Africans in Kenya who actually do work away legally to try and get South African guys to go and work in them. It's still an area that we are trying to explore in terms of future placement partners, which is just such the benefit of going through the placement process when you finish the 23-week course, because those opportunities are becoming more and more and more as the safari industry is recovering, particularly across the entire African continent and not just Southern Africa.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Trevor, I feel like I could ask you anything and you would literally have the answer to it.
We'll try.
So thank you. Thank you so much. You are
pleasure.
obviously a wealth of knowledge and we've loved having you here today. I am going to wrap it up here. We've come to the end of our time. So a huge thank you to everyone who's joined us today, all of you watching, as well as our speakers, Kim, Nico, Jenika, it's been amazing having you. Thank you for bearing with us amongst the technical challenges in live events and online events. These things do happen, so we just roll with it. But I appreciate all of your patience. I will just briefly cover the special offer for today. So an email will be landing in your inbox now, if it hasn't already, just with an outline of what we are offering if you have attended this open day, and that is a dramatically reduced deposit of 8,500 Rand if you are South African, or the local currency equivalent is all in that email. And all the contact details with regard to who you need to get in touch with, spoiler alert, it's Kim, are in that email as well. So you just need to follow the steps and reach out if you are interested in continuing the conversation, asking any more questions. As you've seen, Kim is also a huge wealth of knowledge. She does this all day, every day, and she just loves chatting about Bushwise and yeah, field guiding in general. So yeah, she's a great one to reach out to. And we've absolutely loved having you here today. Thank you so much for all of your questions and for being such a fantastically engaged audience. We've really had a great time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and take care. Thank you again for joining.